So can you please
and it's
explain
working
the team what
properly.
exactly, how exactly you have pulled in the values and how exactly have you got the results? Just show me that.
The download one,
Everything
like,
like initially
yeah.
grabbing.
So there are two folders. Part one is the Excel one, and
Uh-huh.
the dollar download images was is
Uh-huh.
this one.
Okay.
Yeah, and uh, I can show you the data folder project. See, this is all the cell numbers, and it
Mm-hmm.
has like all the images.
Okay.
Yeah. So
So is it easier than what you expected, or is it tough to understand and to replicate?
the video is easy to follow. Just
Okay.
you have to sit and do
Okay.
for yourself. You have to practice for yourself.
Okay.
It's very like instructive. So
Okay. Have you completed all the three or four videos?
yeah, yeah. All four.
Okay.
Everything.
Okay. Great. And have you implemented orchestrate in it or not?
No, no.
Okay. If you
Uh,
want to implement orchestrator, then how can you do this?
uh, uh, First of all, I think I'll add one by one, like add queue items
Mm-hmm.
in orchestrator.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then.
Uh, then like um, I'll try to like implement everything which I did here in orchestrator. Like I'll
Mm.
get one queue, like
Mm-hmm.
make one
Okay. Instead of using a
folder.
for loop, you will have it in process, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So people who are not able to understand, um, not the correct time to say that you didn't understand because I have asked you a couple of days back. So other than Ranjan, have anyone completed this?
So can I stop my screen share?
Yeah, yeah. Please, Ranjan. Anyone else who have completed this?
Vajram, I did not. I mean, I did not implemented it,
Mm-hmm.
but I have gone through the playlist in the YouTube. I
Mm-hmm.
have, and I completely understand the concept.
Okay.
I'm planning to implement something by this weekend. So like I will create something in a kind of a project. Then I will work on that, or else I will try to combine it into a project and having this weekend. But yes, I went through all the videos and I have taken note of everything, and I understand that how it's working from your videos.
Okay. Done. Anyone else? Okay. If not, give me 2 minutes. We'll be done. Okay, thank you. So let's go ahead with our details or with our orchestrator details. So yesterday we discussed about orchestrator and how to add items to orchestrator and how to add queue items and all. So today let's go ahead and discuss on the triggers part, and we'll also discuss on different activities with orchestrator. Give me a second. Yeah, I have it open and I'll also share my screen. Sign in again. Everyone, please go on mute. Yeah, I muted them. Thanks. Okay. Ranjan, please ping me directly in WhatsApp. Okay. So there are different places where you have. Sorry,
About what should I
nothing.
ping?
Just ping hi.
Ping,
That should be enough.
okay,
Okay.
okay.
So here in our orchestrator, so there is no difference between enterprise orchestrator and your normal academy orchestrator or community version of orchestrator. There is no difference. The reason that I'm telling is, see, orchestrator will be same across everything. The only change that you're going to see is robots and services and total number of licenses. Okay, so if you are using or if you are using this particular orchestrator, you are going to see only one production unattended license and one testing robot and document understanding. So in production, everything will be zero except for production and attended robots, or you will also have developmental robots numbers. Other than that, there will not be anything, and those licenses will be added by your orchestrator administrator. Okay, just check with that. Those will be added by your orchestrator administrator. You need not do anything else. Where you need to manage orchestrator settings, you can go into admin, and here is where you will have every detail about orchestrator, like where you need to enable extra services. For example, if you want to enable something in the apps, if you want to enable actions, everything you will have only at one place, that is in the admin panel. So what is a tenant and what is a service? Can anyone tell me what is a tenant and what is a service?
Uh, I, I know what is tenant. Like tenant is a basically a bigger umbrella under which all orchestrator active. Let's say tenant A. Under tenant A, it
Okay,
has a department, HR department, and
okay,
they have their own, UiPath mentioned. They can HR department have their own tenant, everything inside that one tenant. But I'm not sure about the services.
okay. So tenant you
And
can
correct.
tell as a logical representation or logical segregation of information. For example, if I have multiple organizations, or else I can say that in a single organization, I need to have three different orchestrators. Instead of having three different orchestrators, okay, so instead of having three different orchestrators, what we can do is we can upgrade or we can add more tenants so that you can give a logical segregation. For example, you don't want a dev orchestrator to be enabled, or you can the data in the dev orchestrator should not be combined with that of a production orchestrator. So how can you do that? So that's where logical representation comes in. Or you can take this as a school and classrooms. In a bigger school, that is organization, you can have different classes where each and every class have their own rules and their own sections and their own study that they need to do. In the same way, if this is a complete school, default tenant is one class. Okay, if you want to add more classes to it, you can add more classes. But here, if you see, these are services. So what are services? So services are like, you can take it as subjects that you need to learn, but here you can tell this as an orchestrator service where you can do everything with the orchestrator. If you don't want, for example, if there is a business user and you don't want to give any other activity other than some actions or process launcher, so you can give only these two. Integration service you can give, data service you can give. So all these details will combine into a single orchestrator, and then or a single tenant, and will come as a service for you that you can use. This is as simple as that. View license allocation. So if you can see here, there are licenses allocated to any particular tenant. Now how can I add multiple users, or how can I add users to my orchestrator tenant? You can just go ahead, invite users, and you can add any email ID. So you need in a group or in an organization, there is a single orchestrator, but there are multiple members who will access them. Then how can we give them? We can give using invite users, and you can give their own name or their own email ID. Right now we can give Gmail ID, but in an organization we need to give an organization email ID. That's how you need to give a membership. And every role has their own values, like everyone that will be accessed by every other member. And automation users, if there are automation users who will just use the automation, like, okay, I have written a code, you will just use it, you cannot edit it, you cannot view it, you cannot do anything with it, you can just edit it. Administrators will have powers to change, like you can add users, you can add projects, you can add packages. Automation developers, you cannot delete the packages, you can add, you can update, you can make changes in the developmental modules, all those things. So these are the groups that are available, and if you want to add more groups, you can go ahead and add more groups like here. And you can also add robot accounts. So when we add a robot account, it means that we need to give a username, a service account. So that's what will go into a robot account. But normally when we go with users, you can go with users and you can give a username. And you can also see what is the license that we are invited. So here I have multiple groups. So group allocation is available, and I am allocated to automation developer group. So I have multiple groups. External applications is not required. No one is right now trying with this one. This is the latest 2022 version. This is still in beta some places, so don't worry about this. Well, any developer will not see all these details because this is for someone who is maintaining the orchestrator. Okay, even if you are in a support role, you will be seeing only the logs, you will be seeing only the details, but you will not see anything else. Here in users and robot services, we are going to see how many attended licenses do we have, and the automation developer licenses we have, allocations to groups. If we want to allocate to a group, then how, what is this, and what. So if I want to activate any enterprise license, I can go ahead and activate the license here. Okay. Next, security questions, like I can suggest or I can give, okay, this should be only for Google or Microsoft account, or it can be for anything. I can give that. Organization settings, these are my settings. Resource center shown, apps shown, I can enable those. If you want to disable apps, I can just disable this apps, and this will hide app service for all non-admin users. So I'm a admin, so I don't want to do this. So even if I remove this, I will be able to see it. So this is the place where none of you will have the access to delete the organization. So if this is deleted, complete orchestrator will be deleted, anything that's there in it will be deleted. So mostly developers will not have this access. Okay, and there is one more important question that people ask, and you obviously will definitely say that you either you are using a community version or you are using the latest 2022 version. See, that's a problem. So UiPath release notes, release notes. Okay, so here are all the details. Okay, now UiPath mainly releases its major versions in 2 cycles of a year. Okay, first cycle in the month of March and April, the second cycle in the month of October and September and October, or October, November. Okay, the reason is simple. Every 6 months, it will have a new UiPath version. Okay, and after 6 months, it will go ahead and work for the next version of its release. So that is the reason when you see Studio, if you go ahead and see Studio, you will see something called, this is 2021 release, right? So there is also a release called 2022.4. So which month did it release? You can unmute and
April.
talk. April. So which month did 2021 gets released?
October.
Okay. So fourth month and 10th month is what they normally release. And what is the time difference between 2, 4 and 10?
6.
6 months. Then 10 and 4?
Again 6.
Exactly. Now, how a organization will pick the orchestrator version? So if you are saying that you are working for the past 3 years, then you need to come back and see with different versions of orchestrator. So here, see here. Now, if I am saying that I am working since 2000, because see, so only UiPath Orchestrator started only in the version 2016, and it is not having 6 months release till 2029, 2019. Okay, till then it was releasing at multiple versions like 2016.1, 2017.1, 18, 19, 18, 19 fast track, 19. So now we are changed to 6 months release. Okay, so if you are saying that you're working for the past 2 years, just calculate, this is 2021, right? Just go to the previous year and see the previous year's 2 years. So you are working from 2020 and 2021, or you might have worked with version 2019 as well. The reason is, if there is a new release now, organizations will take time to migrate all the process, because there are already hundreds of process in production. They cannot just replicate, or they cannot just convert this orchestrator, because some process might be working, some process may not be working. So how they will do it? So this is the migration cycle that they will follow. Can you see the screen?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So today is 11th, 11 May 2022. So release cycle and how to migrate. Release cycle right now is every 6 months. For Studio, it may not be same for Orchestrator. So if you go ahead with UiPath Orchestrator and Assistant on-prem Orchestrator, again, view all. Okay, so the current version of Orchestrator is 2022.4. Okay, if you go ahead and see. So what are the previous versions that we have? See, so after 2019, we have 6 months release again. What is the current stable version? 2021.10 and 2022.4. So organizations right now has 2021.4. If they are migrated new, then they can have 2021.10. They will not have previous versions. But if you are saying that you are working for the past 3 years, then you should say that I started working in the version of 2019 and then I moved into 2020 and 2021. Right now we are working with 2021.10 orchestrator. Then they can ask you on what is the differences between the previous orchestrator and current orchestrator. Then you can say there are modern folders, there are mostly those will be maintained by our you can say that by our orchestrator. It means we as a developer I need to just move the process into orchestrator and I need to map the process. Those did not change except with the folders. You just need to add a folder and we will have our own licenses and we will be able to move them. So I didn't have any faced any issue, so that you can say. So even for studio and orchestrator. So let's pull up and ask with a question. Um, Gurdeep, can you please unmute? Now, Gurdeep, if you are mentioning that you are working for the past 2 years in UiPath, okay, so then can you tell me what kind of versions have you used of Orchestrator?
I have not engaged much with the orchestrator, to be honest.
Wrong.
My
First question is wrong. First sentence is wrong.
yeah.
Don't say that you haven't engaged, because from day one till day end you will be working with Orchestrator only. So try again.
So, well, I could say that from last 2 years, I have worked on upon like 4 versions of orchestrator.
No. Every year there will be only one time we will change the orchestrator. We will not change it every 6 months. In an organization, see, organization already has multiple processes. They will not have time to change it every 6 months. So if there is a 2021.4 version, they will not change it till UiPath releases that it will be deprecated. If you can see here, just add it here. If you can see here, these are deprecated, right? So what are deprecated? April versions are deprecated. So 2019, 2020.10 and 2021.10 are still active and they are supported. Okay. So though there are 4 versions that are getting released, you can say that I have worked only on 2 versions, because we will not we change only when there is a option that, or when they say that that will be deprecated. Until and unless there is a specific requirement that we need to upgrade. For example, in 2020 there is a option called document understanding that came in place and you want to use it for sure. So you cannot use 2019 version to use document understanding. At that point we need to change the orchestrator, upgrade the orchestrator. Okay, so always think in a way that they will be convinced with your answer, but they will not put new questions to your answer. Okay. One more question. Like, are you a part of installation team of orchestrator?
Uh, like what is meaning of installation team? Sorry.
So if orchestrator should be available, it should be installed somewhere as a service, as a web server. Are you a part of it?
No.
Yeah. So you can just say that, no, I didn't have an opportunity because when I started to work, the orchestra is already available. So I'm not a part of migration team. Okay.
Okay.
But I know how to migrate to previous orchestrators to new orchestrator because I have knowledge on both orchestrators. Okay. See, there can be questions that can come in at any point of time that we haven't heard of. Okay. So when there are such questions, think if that is a regularly used question, like, okay, have you used folders? So that's a regularly used question. Okay, you cannot say that no folders will be set by our team and I will just use it. I'm not having access. What you can say is yes, the production we will not have access to the production orchestrator because that is maintained by a separate on-site team. But we will have an access to our development orchestrator where we can create our own folders. So if you can see here, there are folders, and if I want to create my own folders, I can just go ahead and create them. Okay, so let's go into default tenant. Where are my folders? These are my folders. Anyone know how to create a folder? This is new patch.
Go to tenant,
Okay,
folders.
folders and create a new folder.
Yeah.
So right now, see what is the major differences. The major question is modern folder versus classic folders. Okay, so you can say these are the questions that are right away available for you. So you can say this. I'll just keep this in the notes as well. Just check it. I will also explain you what are the differences. Okay, now if in classic folders, if you need to add more folders, you will not be able to do it. Okay, so if you can see here in classic folder, subfolders are not possible. Okay, classic folder in the same name is created for each unit. All the entities are transferred to the new folders. If no organization units were used, only default classic folders are created when entities under tenant are placed in it. So if there is no specific folder that you have created, everything will be under a default folder by default. Okay, now if I want to create a subfolder for it, I can create and I can say project one and I can create it. So this goes under my main folder as a subfolder. From 2022 or from 20 latest version of orchestrator, UiPath have deprecated classic folders. So if you are going into if you are going into jobs from next year, you will not see any classic folders until and unless you are using a 2020 and 2021 versions. Okay, one more major difference is in classic folder you will have something called environment. Earlier what we used to do is, so we have created a API project, right? In that API project we used to create it as a separate environment where if I want to assign a robot for that environment, assign a process for that environment, I need to do it only with environments. But in latest versions of orchestrator you need not create environments because environments can be converted or right now converted as folders, subfolders. Now what we are doing, for every project we are creating a new folder. in this project one, I'm creating a subfolder again. So this is SCM, or you can say management, service account management. So this is one folder for me, and inside service after project, in the same project I have API. So where I have my own custom assets for it, I will have my own process for it. Now in previous versions of Orchestrator, all the packages are at the same place, all the assets are at the same place, all the queues are at the same place. Okay, but in modern folder, if API have a separate, if API have 3-4 queues, then I can have a separate folder segregation, and in this API I will have my own queues. For API, what are the queues that I'm using? I will have only queues for those here. Okay, so these are the logical differences, or you can say that entities in modern folders, monitoring, process, jobs, queues, and assets are available. But in classic folder, you have monitoring, robots, environments, process, jobs, triggers, queues, assets, tasks, everything in a single folder. Okay, so basic differences: contains provision robots, automatic provisioning of robots as user, no environment concept. As I have mentioned, there is no environment concept, automatically robots will be assigned. Users are assigned at a tenant level, so users are assigned at a folder level. For example, if I am working on this particular folder, for example, I am working on API folder, I need not have access for service account. So now the segregation is possible, and we will be able to give only access to API folder. But in previous versions of Orchestrator, if I give access to a tenant, everyone can see all the details in each and every package. Each and every package they can access, each and every process they can access, everything they can access. Okay, the next one. Where is this? Classic folders. Yeah. So a classic folder is named default for every item, every tenant. You can enable you set roles per folder. Like as I have said, if I want to set roles, if I want to go ahead, tenants, settings, okay, I need to have access only to the few machines or few users. I can give access only to those users. Okay, so if I give Vajrang, I can give access only to this person. Remaining members I can just ignore for this particular folder. Leave this page. Now, classic folders follows separate flat structure. Each subfolder inherits role assignment from modern folders. For example, I have view access for project, but I can have view access for this one, and also I can have view edit access for this one if I am assigned to. But for project one, I cannot make any changes, but for API, I can make changes. Okay, so for each and every subfolder you can have access for it and you can have details for it. So the best way to answer this concept or this question is just go ahead and tell that in modern folders you will not have environment concept. In classic folders you will have environment concept, so you need to create a folder and you need to assign it to an environment. And modern folders are available. This is very important question, like have you, when did you implement modern folders from? So you can say modern folders are available from 2019 version, but we started implementing only in the year 2022 or 2021, because we already have process existing in the existing orchestrator. When we migrated, then we created a new structure. Understood? Yes, no?
Yes, yes.
Yes, Vajra.
Okay. So let's take this up and let's close this. Again, last 10 minutes I will have it for questions because most of the concepts are completed. These are just the way how you answer them, not the way how you know everything now and you have practiced things now. You only need to think on how can you implement or how can you answer what you have practiced in the interviews. That's it. Kiran Kumar, can you please unmute? Kiran, okay. Lakshmi,
Yeah. Hi, Vajra.
Lakshmi. So Lakshmi, if I ask you a question, have you worked on on-prem orchestrator or cloud orchestrator? So what is your answer?
Cloud Orchestrator.
Why not on-prem orchestrator? Again, a bigger mistake. Organizations like banking sectors or any kind of secured environment, organizations will not go for a cloud version of orchestrator. Any reason? Do you know the reason why?
Uh, no.
So cloud
Yes, sir.
orchestrators, Anil, you want to answer? Yeah, go ahead.
For on-prem, there is no restriction. For example, now it is a new concept like document understanding in orchestrator we can see.
Okay.
In while we are running the pipeline, it will restricted in cloud. We can only run two pipelines, or else we can only create two ML skills. But in on-prem, we can create any number of ML skills, and we can run any number of pipelines with include if we include GPU drivers, and there
Hmm.
is no restriction. And the only concern is I think license cost is more in on-prem.
Okay. That's correct. And I think you went into DevOps. That's the reason you were able to answer like that. But
No, this I worked on UiPath only. I am working on document understanding part now.
exactly, exactly. So what exactly will happen is, if you are working in an orchestrator with on-prem, on-prem means on premises. You are having orchestrator installed inside your organization clouds and organization machines. So when you are having something like that, you will have complete control of the data that you are sending to and fro. Okay. But if you are using cloud orchestrator, the orchestrators will be maintained by UiPath. You are taking them as a service. They will see where the data should be stored. They will see where the data should be segregated. Everything will be maintained by UiPath. Okay. So if it completely depends upon what organization wants to follow. As a developer, you need not worry on if it should be a cloud version of orchestrator or on-prem version of orchestrator. You can say that we are using an on-prem version of orchestrator because the organization have already installed a version of it. Did you get it?
Yeah.
Okay. Then
Yeah,
what?
so one more thing, like recently our organization moved to on-prem to
Hmm,
cloud.
exactly.
Do you have any idea why they are moved to on-prem? As per you, on-prem is better, right?
No,
Instead of
no. It's not like on-prem is better. See, when you are using a cloud orchestrator, all the updates will be pushed by UiPath and they will give a heads up stating that okay, on this date we are going to make the upgrades. So you need not have the headache of checking with the security. You need not have the headache of checking with whether a proper cloud is being provisioned or proper certificates are being provisioned. So it completely depends upon an organization if they want to take the risk of having the data in cloud. They just need to mention some data in the cloud version and they need to maintain the orchestrator where they need to maintain some queue details. Then all they need to do is they need to purchase or they need to access a URL. Other than that, they need not have any other any other details or any other versions, or you can say they need not have any other support activities. But in cloud, in on-prem version, they will have all these activities. They need to see a machine, they need to see a they need to install SQL server in their machine, they need to have a web server, they need to install they need to add database, SQL server database, that is UiPath database that they will be providing, and they need to maintain a web service that runs constantly. So all this headache will not be available if you are using a cloud version. And people are moving it to cloud version because UiPath right now is more into security. They have purchased security companies, and they have implemented more secure versions of their orchestrator, so that they cannot be misused or they cannot be accessed by any others other than the organizations. For example, you can also think it something like this. If you are working from home, you will be provided with a cloud version of Windows, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, the cloud version of Windows is being maintained by Microsoft organization. It's not maintained by your organization, right?
Yes.
But if the same need to be provided by your organization, then what they need to do? They need to have a very big server, and they need to make sure they installed all the security certificates. They need to make sure there should be someone who maintains it constantly. Okay, so it completely depends upon the security and the compatibility. So which takes priority, that will be taken up. If they want to just implement a few process and they want to do it tomorrow, they need not while installing or getting the securities, everything will take around 1 week to 2 weeks of time. But if you can just purchase a cloud license, you can implement it immediately, right?
Yes.
So you can say that we started working on on-prem, but we migrated later to a cloud version now. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so that's there we will stop our program for today. So any questions?
Nazrul, what will be the difference with respect to UI with on-prem and cloud orchestrator?
As I said, no difference. On-prem orchestrator and cloud orchestrator are the way how you manage your orchestrator. If you are having your own servers where you are having the details, like you need to have a security personnel, or else a security person role, as well as someone who maintains or constantly sees if the orchestrator is up and running or not, then you can have on-prem version. But if you don't want all those things, you just need to access a URL. Like all the versions of orchestrator that you are using right now, are they on-prem or are they cloud orchestrators? Like, yeah.
Like I'm using community edition only. I think it's
See,
cloud.
never ever say anything about, don't even pull up the word community.
I'm just like,
No, even for me.
okay.
Okay. Because the day you started saying, or the minute you started saying community, people will get caught. Because in organizations, as a organization principle, UiPath will not allow community version to be used in an organization.
Okay.
Okay, it is only for students and people who learn like us.
Okay.
In organizations, we will have enterprise version, either a trial version or a licensed version.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And production orchestrator, yeah, production orchestrator and development orchestrator will be in different tenants, or it will be there in same tenant. Because one tenant
Tenant,
we have only one orchestrator.
no. In an orchestrator, there will be multiple tenants. In one orchestrator, we can have multiple tenants. You cannot have one tenant and you cannot have multiple orchestrators.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So if there is an orchestrator, you can have a tenant called development. You can have a tenant called production. You can have a tenant called testing.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Okay.
URL will be changed. See, if you are having this URL, only this URL will be changed. Instead of uipathcloud.com, this is default tenant, right? Here you will have
Yes.
dev. Other than dev, you will have IT, or here you will have testing. So all these are available for us to maintain and manage. So if you go into the settings, if I want to create a different tenant, I can go ahead and do it. But if you are using community version, you cannot do it because you will have access only to a single tenant. See, you have
Before
it.
it was saying
uh,
production orchestrator, dev orchestrator, so I got confused. But it is like a production tenant kind of,
Exactly.
right?
Exactly. You can
Yeah.
have it something like that, or there can be a option like there will be different instances of tenants.
Okay.
Okay,
Like
like
instances of tenant.
instance of orchestrator itself, like cloud.uipath.com instead of cloud.uipath.com, dev.uipath.com, um, prod.uipath.com. Like complete URLs will be different. Some organizations maintain in
Oh,
that way as well,
okay.
and they will have only single tenant in it, default tenant.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
And also in modern folders, before we used to have color formats, right? Classic, we used to have orange, and modern, it is blue. Now we are having in your edition, community edition, uh, the color is orange, but then it is modern, right?
Right now, all the community versions stopped supporting classic folders.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right now, there are only um, modern folders.
Modern. Yes.
Let's UiPath classic folders deprecated. So from 2022.10 release, there will not be any classic folders.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's it, Vajran. Thank you.
Welcome.
Vajrang, could you please explain on storage buckets?
The storage buckets are the place where you have the information in the orchestrator. Okay, I cannot explain it completely right now, but you can. I'll try to give you a video of it. Maybe I have it. I don't have it. Go with this one. Rakesh explains it very well. So just check with this one. So again, storage buckets to simply explain is a place where you store the information other than the assets and other details. For example, if you want to store an Excel file that should be accessed by multiple process, normally what we do, we'll have it in a shared folder and we will have it in the asset, right? The shared folder link will
Yes.
be given in the asset. Now what you can do is you can just go ahead and upload the file directly into the orchestra in the storage bucket, and then that you can use. Okay, that's a simple way of representation of storage buckets. That is a
And
place where
also,
you store information like
okay.
files,
Uh,
folders, anything.
okay. And also, could you please share any video link for DocuSign as well?
Why?
Like in the previous interview for CTS, I faced this question. Have you worked on DocuSign?
See, one thing that I would like to tell everyone, I have close to 8 years or 6 years of experience, or close to 7+ years of experience in UiPath. Not everyone will work with DocuSign. That can be a single project. That will not be a complete life of our career of UiPath. Okay, but I will give you the URL. I think Harika have already done it. Yeah, Priyanka have already done it. So you can take it up. This she explained it very well with DocuSign, so you can use it. But again, DocuSign is also an API. Okay, so what exactly the idea of DocuSign is? If you want to send any document for signature, digital signature, you can use APIs and you can send them to their email IDs. Once they open it, they will close it, and once they sign it and give it back, DocuSign will check whether that particular ID item is signed or not, and then you can continue to write the next steps of the process. DocuSign is also a API call. Just remember that. Okay. So what is this previous one?
Storage bucket.
Yeah. Okay. Let's stop it for today. Ranjan, are you still available?
Yes.
Ranjan, you have a message in Teams. Congratulations on winning the 500 rupees gift voucher from me. And thank you so much for taking time and completing. Hope you have learned and implemented what is being taught.
My understanding of API has increased.
Okay. So now you will be able to learn more things, and congratulations on the gift voucher.
Thank you.
Do you want to show it to the team? Share your screen and show it.
Okay. Actually, I already used let me try to show you.
No, just show it in the Teams message that I have sent. That's it.
Okay.
Why babies?
Yeah.
Okay. You can just click it and you can use it. But I think you have already used it.
Yeah. I already used it. Can you see the screen?
Yeah. I can.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much for your time and patience. And maybe today is Wednesday, I guess, right? 2 more days of sessions and we will be done. So I have promised extra sessions. Those two, tomorrow and day after tomorrow will be those 2 extra sessions that we missed in the starting. So I'm not leaving any session. I'm taking all the sessions for you, and we'll be doing a great work. So all the best, everyone. Don't wait for the interviews. You pick and attend the interviews. Okay.
Yeah, Vajra, and earlier I asked about the support role. One of you promised that you will provide one session for support.
Okay. Support. I already have a video. Have I already given you that or not?
No, not yet.
Okay. Just a second.
And also, most of the interviews they are asking about custom activities.
You want me to take one session on custom activities?
Yes.
Okay. I will take. Okay. Just check with this one. He explained it, but I also have a video on that. I will give you 2 videos. So the one that I am giving you is the one that I have taken a session to other team members, so that you can use and access. But I'll just give you this one as well.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
What is the difference between processes and jobs?
Processes. See, what is the difference between packages and process?
Package is a combination of folder and
No, package is just the
process.
code.
Okay, yeah, just a code.
Okay, process is the code and the robot in which it should run.
Okay.
If you assign a package with a robot where it should run, then that's a process.
Okay.
A job is a single execution of a process.
Okay.
Okay, so you can execute it multiple times, right?
Yes. Yes.
Every
Yeah.
time you execute it, it's a job.
Yeah. And
Hmm,
custom activities that can be done using libraries, right? Like
exactly.
that. Is that the only way, or other ways also we can do?
You can write code. You can write code with UiPath. See, when I was asked about this question, I'm saying that yes, we have implemented custom activities, but the problem that happened with custom activities is there it used to take much more efforts to maintain it than to use it.
Okay.
Okay, so the reason is it is an activity, right?
Yes. Yes.
Now, if I want to change something in that activity, then who should do it?
We have to do it by doing.
Someone who created that activity or someone who knows
Yeah.
the coding completely
Yes.
about
Yes.
that. And he may or may not be available with our team anymore.
Yeah.
Okay, so what we instead did is we went on with a XAML file where it is easier for us to maintain and manage than to a custom activity. If I want to
Okay.
create a custom activity, then I will convert this custom package or this custom XML file into a library and I will give it, even it will have the same result, like I can use that activity.
Yes. Yes. That's what, like through libraries also we can achieve the same thing.
Exactly.
Uh,
So
yeah.
there it will be easy for us to manage, right? Because the libraries are available, it can be available in the orchestrator. If I want to move it as a package, I can do it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
if I am going with UiPath code, or sorry, if I'm going with the .NET C# code, then I need to have Microsoft Visual Studio installed in my
Visual
machine.
Studio.
Yeah, Studio
Yes.
installed in my machine, but I don't have our team doesn't have the license for it.
Yeah.
So you have all these questions and all these answers that you can tell, and even the person who is asking you the question may not have UiPath Studio installed in their machine. Sorry, not Visual Studio installed in their machine with licenses,
Yeah.
because it's a separate cost again for them.
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
you can give this answer.
Okay. And by the way, I too have completed that yesterday API's project, but then because of some system issue, I joined late today.
Oh, is it? Then you are also eligible for gift voucher. You'll get one.
That's fine. Like, I just want to show the code, like
Eh,
whether it is correct or not.
Go ahead, go ahead. Nagaraj saying, how can we access on-prem orchestrator? You will be given a URL by your team. With that, you can access. In the same way, how we have the URL for this. Okay, go ahead, run this file and show me the results.
I just stored in both Qs and Excel as well.
Okay, show me the queues as well. Yeah, I will share the recordings for today's and yesterday's meetings.
Only few details like name, gender, I have stored. Kind of
Okay.
this.
But you were able to understand, right, how to concatenate the values, usernames and passwords,
Yeah.
address and all.
Right. This is how we do that, right? If it is address, it is of kind of
Yeah,
like more details inside the
exactly,
address.
exactly.
Yeah.
Great to know. Okay, now show me in the orchestrator as well.
And one of the important other question is like, how would you stop the job through UiPath?
So from orchestrator, there is a should stop button, a stop button that's available for a job. If you go into jobs and if you click on stop, then in the RE framework, there is a while before getting an activity, there is a activity called should stop. That's a Boolean value.
Okay.
Okay. If you hit on stop over a job, then that will be triggered and it will not pick a new queue item. That's how you stop it.
Yeah, this is how.
Excellent. You also need to consume it. Okay.
Like consume it in the sense.
Like you need to also create a performer for it. This is the dispatcher, right?
Yeah. Yes. 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 Yeah.
Okay.
That we can do like using queue name.
Yes, you can just start with an RE framework and you can give the queue name. It will automatically pick all the items.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And congratulations on winning the Amazon gift voucher. You got it.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, everyone. Bye bye. Have a great day. See you in your messages, Alekia, to redeem it.
Sure.
Bye bye, everyone.